Any country which wants to progress needs an enlightened leadership. And when Modi came in power way back in 2014, I was pretty happy because India was getting a capable Prime Minister after a long time. A person who had no personal greed, no desire to accumulate wealth, no desire to exploit people, and he was dedicated to the country, who had vision. And that's what impacted my thought. And that remains till today. The guy is absolutely dedicated to the country. And my admiration for him increased when he clearly called for scientific temper. But unfortunately, what's happening is that his acolytes, his followers, are trampling upon the very scientific temper that he stood for. The averments of Prime Minister Modi are being negated and practically thrown in the waste paper basket while professing all obligation, all loyalty, all fealty to the Prime Minister. If we look at the stupid, unacceptable statements by the various ministers, the chief ministers, I'm amazed. But then I can accept it. However, when creativity of any nation is sought to be belittled, destroyed, is nothing short of murdering the future generations. From Tanishq advertisement to Jha, to Dabur, to Sabyasachi, we have seen all creativity being crushed and forced to fall in line with the backward notions. This obscurantism is reigning supreme today, especially in the province of Madhya Pradesh, where the Minister of Home is a die-hard, outspoken despot, behaving like the old emperors, ordering the police to arrest a creator. You remember Tanishq, a Tata Group company, very nationalistic. They had advertised and they had contextualized an interfaith marriage which showed how a caring mother-in-law respected her daughter-in-law's faith. It was a Hindu girl married into a Muslim family according to advertisement, and they were having the ceremony of the baby shower. And it was going according to the Hindu custom, and yet this portrayal took criticism from virulent section of society that threatened the violence against the brand. And the result was Tanishq withdrew that advertising. Then came Fab India, a favorite of many who wear ethnic printed kurtas. It was embroiled in a controversy regarding their latest tweet. They were celebrating their new clothes for the festival season, and they called it Jashn-e-Riwaj. Imagine, hue and cry was raised to the word Jashn. Jashn is celebration, which was aimed at a big launch in the current season. The collection had tweeted on October 9 that they'll come up, and they posted, "We welcome the festival of light and hope, love, Jashn-e-Riwaj." Riwaj is a fashion. So it's a celebration of the fashion, a collection of the beautifully dressed people paying homage to the Indian culture. And then hell broke loose. How can you use this Urdu word Jashn? What nonsense. Just today I posted that in English 453 new words were added to the dictionary. And here objection is being made to use of a word of Urdu which is a recognized Indian language. Apart from the fact that's recognized in their language, even if it's a foreign language, using any word, incorporating in your language, and which is your language. So this was cutting your nose to spite your throat. And then, they withdrew the advertisement, they apologized. But then it's laughable that the person who criticized this, who read the agitation, was using an Urdu word mudda, not a Hindi word. Then came an advertisement by Dabur, which showed the Karwa Chauth, and it was instead of a male and a female, both females looking at each other and praying for the health of and long life of the partner. So it was in fact lesbianism. So what? Even as a matter of fact, this protest against this ad was illegal, unconstitutional, because the article which banned homosexuality has been abolished. It has been declared to be illegal and unconstitutional. So this protest was basically unconstitutional, and the minister, when he ordered the arrest and that will prosecute, was stupid. As a matter of fact, that minister should be arrested for contempt of court. And in reality, the governor and the chief minister should have dismissed him for not living up to his oath. He broke his oath. Then comes an advertisement of Mangal Sutra by fashion designer Sabyasachi. And hell broke loose. How can he show Mangal Sutra being worn by a woman who is showing her cleavage? As if cleavage is not shown by the Hindu women. And love then Prakash Jha's web series Ashram 3. Why you call it ashram? Because ashram is a place where the godmen live. So you can't call and here you are showing godmen as licentious beasts which they are. I wrote an article a few days back, giving the details of some Babas like Asaram and others who are bywords of murder, rape, dacoity and what not. So these things are really happening. So why object to creativity, to film, to an advertisement? Some things are legal, so why object to that? But this populist decision aimed at curbing the creativity is horrific. I'm amazed that the Supreme Court, which is otherwise so vocal, kept shut, did not say a single word. As a matter of fact, this was a time when the Supreme Court should have come up openly, suo motu, called for the dismissal of the minister, called for the arrest of all the hooligans, and ordered the central government to give security to these companies. But no, they kept shut. They kept mum. Government of India, Prime Minister should have intervened. The President should have intervened. They were deaf and mute. And looking at this flood, this deluge of criticism and danger of being arrested and put behind bars, forced all these companies to withdraw and apologize. And the Home Minister says, I'm giving you 24-hour ultimatum, otherwise I'll ask the police to arrest you. Can you issue an order ordering police to arrest a person for not doing anything illegal? Why don't you remember that in Nuremberg we hanged people who obeyed illegal orders, and now you are going to issue illegal order? Would the police not be guilty? And should they not be hanged like that? Then the plea taken is that that's against Hindu religion. Hindu religion is not that bad. There is nothing wrong with Hindu religion. It's the interpretation of Hindu religion that you are describing as bad. As a matter of fact, Hindus are so eclectic, so cosmopolitan that they embraced the first Masjid during the time of the life of Prophet Muhammad was built in Kerala. Two masjid actually. Can anybody believe it? Jews, when they were persecuted, came to India, and I was amazed. In Mizoram, when I was there, I happened to meet one of the lost tribes of the Jews. Zoroastrians, being persecuted in Iran, came to India and the famous Parsi community, and the Parsi community's Tanishq branch, which was the start of this persecution. And basically, the Mangal Sutra campaign is in the context of making heritage and cultural dynamic conversation. This was something which shows inclusivity. I was watching a movie yesterday. एक लड़की को देखा तो ऐसा लगा. Again, that's a celebration of the lesbian relationship. A beautiful movie. Then I'm sure the next step would be to ban the movie and prosecute all the actors, directors, story writers, because that, according to them, is bad. So where are we going? Now, who is this guy Mishra? He's a six-time MLA and won the 2018 Assembly election with a very narrow margin of 2,000 inscription votes. And now he is hoping to be the chief minister. And that's why he is trying to consolidate his fundamentalist Taliban, I'll call it. The Taliban had destroyed Bamiyan statues in Afghanistan. And that is what these people are doing. Creativity is not bound to a religion. It is eclectic and it's a part of the human growth. And yet, as I said, people are quiet. You remember on January 6th this year, stones were pelted at the rally of BJP. Bad, absolutely. They should have been punished. And then Mishra referred that the houses from where the stones were thrown should be demolished. You want to create more lawlessness? Then what's the difference between you and the Nazi hordes or Taliban? Let's be very clear. They argue in favor of anti-conversion bill, and I oppose conversion. Let me be very clear. I have said, but there are two types of conversion. Conversion can be because of your own free will, of your own conviction. Conversion can be forced. Force should not be there. It can be by bribe. It should not be there. But if it's by conviction, then there should be no problem. So this anti-conversion bill was something, the defense was bad, that this is an invasion of your religion. Give your religion that strength that people can't invade it. You remember what happened in August? This guy defended 4 accused who had assaulted Bengal seller Tansim because he was a Muslim. Luckily, some BJP leaders have very clearly said that the party doesn't endorse Mishra's remarks. This is something good. And that they quote in that favor that when he put such tweets, they are not retweeted or shared by the other senior party leaders. That's something good. But what we need is basically a clear statement from BJP leadership that this man is a persona non grata. He should be removed from the post. And not only that, these hordes of hooligans roaming as Bajrang Dal or any other Yuva Morcha, things like that, there are hundreds of them. They have to be told, look here, so far no further. The eclectic Indian concept of the whole world as a family shall not be allowed to be destroyed. And obscurantism, which you are promoting, which is basically striking at the roots of Hindu culture and Hindu religion, would not be acceptable. When these Bajrangal ruffians vandalized a set of Jazz movie Ashram 3, Mishra said that the government is going to make it mandatory for the filmmakers to obtain approval of the district administration before shooting such scenes. Why? You have a film censor board. Why should they take permission before every film which is released gets a certificate? And there have been cases when the orders have been there to cut the scenes, to remove the scenes. But to request or order a filmmaker to submit it for mandatory pre-shooting approval is killing the progress. And then he says that he has asked the state police chief to review the Dabur advertisement for funeral product, but then Dabur had apologized and they were not. Then came, that famous advertisement by Alia Bhatt of Manavar. Now this was objection to the concept of Kanyadan, and there was a lot of respect for that. Basically, it was very logical. There was nothing wrong with that. She only said that don't say Kanyadan because you are not giving charity. Girl is not being given as a charity. That's the way it's presumed. So what was wrong with that? And yet, Manavar had to roll back their campaign because they were facing the ire of the madmen, lunatics, who were posing to be the protectors of Hindu religion. Do they think that Hindu religion is so weak that it needs the protection of the ruffians? Then that way, how are they better than Taliban or by the Khalistanis? Then another thing coupled with this is what is attack of the creativity. But then comes another news which shocked me. A BJP leader in Jammu says that the people who cheered Pakistan team, their citizenship should be removed. Does he know law? Citizenship cannot be taken away by anybody until it's a proven act of treason. And even then, where shall the person go? As a matter, citizenship can be removed only of that person who has a dual citizenship. But here, in India, there is no dual citizenship. So what are you going to talk about? You can arrest a person, you can prosecute a person, you can put the person in jail. Fine, that's all legal. But removing or withdrawing the citizenship is absolutely idiotic. Why do these people behave in this manner? The problem is that they are suffering from the virus of arrogance, the arrogance of power, the arrogance of majority. And its reality is not the majority. It is a minority group of lunatics posing to be the protectors, and the majority keeps quiet, as it always happens. Now, I am always saying that any nation which does not indulge in creativity is on a sure path to destruction. And in desperation of protecting something which is not logical, you are expediting the process of destruction. If you destroy the creativity, your all progress in all fields will stop. Creativity in literature especially, in liberal arts, painting, art, creative, films, writings. These are the things which sustain and build up a nation. You can disagree. I might disagree myself with what Mangal Sutra did. I praise what Fab India was doing, Jashne Rivaj, because that's enhancing the vocabulary of a language and making it richer. Yes, Mangal Sutra, I might object because, okay, you need decently well-clothed people. But then, people who don't want that, I have no right to that. Homosexuality is not a crime. A. Secondly, it's a human nature. And it's not in their hands. They did not become homosexual by choice. They became because of the genetic factor. Can you blame a person for his genes? That means next time you will be saying, why is the nose longer? Why is the nose shorter? Or the people who have got the grey eyes are criminals and shoot them. Reminds me of that Gulliver's Travels, when two kingdoms went to a war, and the cause of the war was at which end of the egg it should be broken, at a larger size or at a smaller size, and the war started. This is what these group of lunatics are doing to the Indian culture, destroying the concept of the word as a family, destroying the concept of Indianness. And in fact, they are committing suicide, cultural suicide, intellectual suicide, and they are putting blocks in the creativity and innovation and progress. How long would this nonsense continue? I leave it to you to judge. Thank you.